is seeking. There are some typos that I've corrected, and I'll read it correctly here. The library furnace replacement and structural roof work are both much needed, period. The proposed creation of a multipurpose room will allow the library to better house its current books and also to provide meeting and workspace for local residents and work groups. Our library has been part of the Weathersfield community for over 100 years. It is a vital part of what makes our town an attractive place to live. We urge you to help us as we position the library to be of service to our community throughout the next century and beyond. Sincerely, and this will be signed by the Weathersfield chair, if the board so wishes.
I had a question. So what does the library actually have so far as to go towards this project?
We have architectural drawings, we have engineering reports, we have a federal needs assessment for space, which we can't meet because we just don't have a big enough footprint, but we're trying to get square footage as close to the standard.
Have you raised some money already?
Oh, yes.
That's what I wondered.
Yes, we have.
How much have you raised?
We have more than we want to allocate as our portion of this because we don't know what may come next. We're proposing to put somewhere between $30,000 and $50,000 of our money that has been fundraising and bequests.
Can I just check with Joe that the sound is working?
Yeah.
Joe, can you hear us?
Again?
Oh, they should be able to hear.
It looks like Zappa muted their microphone.
I know.
Again?
Well, muted them, not, so they can't talk to you.
No, that should be on individual devices.
Okay.
Okay,
Mike?
sorry.
And I was just gonna say, and I would also, depending on what the board decides on this, I would also make another change to some of the wording in this.
Zoning, is there anything, yeah, wow. You're getting good. Zoning is in place for that already? That addition?
It was in place for some of it. I'm not sure whether, I think we need to do that again.
I gotta say, those permits they expire. They only have, you gotta be in construction. That's all in zoning.
So,
Go ahead, Kel.
I have a question. So there is room for adding on to there? I know that it was a tight when you added on in the past.
Yeah.
So I don't see where you're gonna be able to put a room that size.
Well, we can't come out terribly far, but most of it will be what's currently sloping with bushes growing in it. It will come out a bit, but we think that we'll have enough. We have access as part of the agreement that where we, before us were involved, gave away land. We have an agreement with that we can use, 50 spaces or something down by the post office. And across the street. In perpetuity. That was what we got from giving up the land that allowed them to put the road through. So there's plenty of parking.
So do you have permission from the landowners that abut the property to extend out on that end?
We're not going close enough to them for that to be an issue. We don't need a variance.
Okay.
That's part of the size of it is.
Yeah.
It's within.
I just know it's a tight squeeze in there, so.
Well, it's also part of zoning, which will get resolved over there. Any other questions from the board? Dave?
Is there a survey of the library? If there's not, there's gonna have to be one. I was here when that trade was made. There's also a septic from the library line that combines with this one to go out to the common leach field. there's issues to sort out. So you have to know.
Done with the last- They were done with the last building, bro. We got all that done.
But,
And
but
then
I
you have
was here during
drawings.
I was here during the trade. I think even before you were here, Mark. I mean, I've been here for a long time. So I recall some of this, and it really will, they're gonna have to do it anyway to go through the zoning process, because there is a right of way for the access to go to the, post office. But that right of way is probably spelled out to be like 3 rods or something. So there's gonna have to be some paperwork that's looked up.
The whole grass area beyond their parking is, the leach field for the old folks home.
This building, I think, and the library, that's what I, because it common,
Comes out the front, just look up the side and then goes out the front.
It-
That's all been built into that
it
drawing.
went out in back of the church here to combine both. It was 2 town buildings that I know that we got resolved because we had
Put
issues.
in a new bathroom in the last few years.
I'm talking to Leachfield.
Yeah, I
The
believe that
survey's
that
already
was,
been done.
That's okay, then I'm asking it for it to be looked up.
it will be.
Yeah, like I said, that'll be part of zoning. Wendy, you had another, amendment to the language?
Oh, it was very simple. I was just going to drop also, put that period and just, let me look here where I was saying that. Put the period at books and then just put, 1 second,
At books?
1 second, let me go back and read it.
Front books.
Okay.
I'm usually the person picking things apart.
Okay.
This is interesting. Humility for me. Good point.
I guess I was just dropping the word also, comma, and to provide meeting and workspace for local residents. I was just dropping a word, that's it.
Oh.
Comma.
Okay.
Get
I
rid
see
of
what you mean.
also.
I see what you mean. Okay. All right, so, consensus of the board, to, give support to this? Wendy? Yeah, your nay?
Wendy?
I'm not sure yet, I'm
Oh,
still thinking.
sorry.
I'm not sure yet.
You wanna pass, keep going?
Kelly?
We're gonna take
I don't know yet either.
I'm okay with the concept of it, but I would urge the library trustees to work with the town manager to make sure that what you're proposing is, I don't know that I'd send them any footprint yet, because there might be some scale that you'd have to revisit pending the outcome of a survey or a right-of-way or something. I don't have a problem with the concept of, because somebody else is gonna take federal money from the libraries. So if it's an upgrade, you got a new furnace, you fix that, I've seen the pictures of rot. I mean, we're gonna have to address that at some moment in our time, so why not seek opportunity other than property taxes? I don't have a problem with that.
Paul?
Yeah, I don't have a problem. My only thing is, I personally don't like, this should have been an agenda item, but not just.
It perhaps
This
should
is,
have.
we've already talked way too much about it for this, so.
Brandon called me and
Don't have all the
told me
information.
that he had dropped the ball on this, that Mark had, and
Well, Yeah, so,
they had approached him.
I'm fine, but I don't know. if you guys
And it was
are-
time sensitive, Paul, that's another reason why I
So-
requested.
Okay,
So him and
so,
I talked about this,
so then it does matter whether we do this tonight or not.
yes.
Okay, so my other question. So this letter is just specifically just showing that the board would support them in getting some,
Free
to
money.
seeking grants?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, we're not spending any money.
Yeah, it's a
The
letter of
zoning board
support.
could still come back and say, no, you can't have a permit. They could do that.
So it's mainly just a letter of support that if they
That's all it
work
is.
through this, and that's fine.
This isn't just some
Yeah.
harebrained
Yeah.
thing.
I have one more point that I don't object to. I've seen these things, and not you guys, but I've seen these programs where somebody will say that the grant's not gonna cost any money. It's not uncommon for a grant to come back and say that we'll give you so much if the town will pony up 10%. I'm not opposed to that either, because this project is probably, the upgrade is gonna have to happen at some moment in time. So a 90%, to seek 100 might be a little overreach.
If they ask for 10%, we will gladly put up 10%. We're expecting, and we're not of your money, of our money. We're expecting to do more than 10%.
It's all,
I have one more question.
Can we get through the consensus first?
yes.
Yeah, I'm fine.
Kelly?
I'm fine.
And I'm fine. Dave, go.
What is the timetable you think that, if you guys have thought about this, that it would actually, when does the grant come to a decision? 2024, is this part of the, like, the
I think
act, federal
they
funding?
would like to see dirt moving, this fall.
Oh, that fast?
That fast?
Oh, I thought maybe, it
It
was,
has
I
to
thought
be
you were
done
gonna
by
say 25.
2026.
Oh,
It
okay.
has to be finished by.
Okay, that's good, all right.
Good. Brandon, I'm gonna give you this copy of the letter. This is the one with the markups on it.
Yeah, I'll take care of it.
And I will sign it when it's done. Okay, thank you all. And I'm sorry, this wasn't an agenda item, it would have been.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I just,
Yeah, no, you're all right. Review minutes of previous meeting.
Wait,
Do we?
oh,
There were probably other
Oh,
comments.
other comments, that's right, we were under comments from citizens. See, we move into that stuff. I apologize. Steve?
How did we get a copy of the documents that Dave handed out earlier?
it should be probably in the minutes, right?
You want mine? I'll give you mine, but my printer ran out of whatever, and
Olivia, can you go get some more copies, cause she'll need a copy. You have a copy?
No, 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 no.
No, of the.
Thank you, guys.
Of the booklet.
thank you.
I'll stop in.
And I'll come over with that writing class.
Yeah.
Thank you, gentlemen. Okay. Comments from citizens, topics not on the agenda. Any others? I apologize for losing my place.
Seeing your hands up on the
Okay.
computer.
And Olivia is printing out to cover requests for the document Mr. Fuller handed out earlier. Review minutes of previous meeting. Do I hear a motion to approve the minutes of 3/13/2023?
So moved.
Do I hear a second?
I'll second.
Motion's been made and seconded. Minutes.
I have one, I only found one thing wrong.
Okay.
On the, last page, oh, actually, page 4, I guess. Do you have it as page 4 on yours? Probably not. It's the last, when we made a motion to accept the, warrants. I seconded it after Mr. Tillman. My last name is spelt with an A in that one and not an E. The rest of them, you did it right, you put E's in them. Just need to correct that.
You took care of the ones I told you about.
Yep.
Okey dokey.
That's all I have.
Any other discussion on the minutes? Hearing none, all those in favor of the minutes, 3/13, signify by saying aye. Aye. Vote to purchase police cruiser. This is a item that is has a motion on the floor. And I've been struggling with this, how to deal with this. We have a motion on the floor. It may be easier just to dispose of that motion and start over, or proceed with amendment to the motion. So currently, the motion on the floor is to award the bid for the police cruiser to Ford of Claremont for $44,467, $35,000 to come from police cruiser reserves, $9,467 to come from ARPA. That's the motion, and it was tabled. Do you want to remove that and start all over, or do you want to work forward with amendments?
Dave tabled.
Dave?
Can you repeat the number that you just said that's in the original motion?
$44,467.
Yeah, it's for Claremont right
So is
It's
that?
the same, yeah.
It's the same as
That's-
this motion?
That part's the same, it's just where's the money
Just
coming from
where
and
the
how
money-
much and all that's gonna change. And there's other stuff.
They have a total now.
Well, but I don't think the motion before had anything to do with outfitting, did it?
That's correct.
Just needs to all
That's
be
correct.
taken away and start over again.
According to the minutes that we just passed, that was not in the minutes.
No,
No, and that's correct too. And
So that's a little, so who made the motion in a second?
You tabled it, I seconded it.
No, no, no.
Oh, I'm sorry.
There was an original motion
Okay, I
that
understand.
was made to approve that and seconded.
I read the motion.
But the minutes don't
there. Made by
clarify.
Mr., oh, wait a sec, a vote to
No.
purchase police car, motion to table.
No, there's an original
Yeah,
motion
okay,
that was
no.
made to approve that.
Just give me 1 second.
I called Brandon
Issue.
before the meeting and had him read that, so I had that motion, and he was gonna take that up.
But the minutes don't reflect who
Yeah,
made the
I
motion.
don't
And that was something he was gonna
Yeah.
address as well.
thank you.
Just give me 1 second, sorry.
I don't see how you're gonna find that out now, because the minutes don't reflect, you'd have to go back and look at the tape. You gotta figure out how to move on.
Yeah.
Then we could do that with just do it with amendments, because we could start with just amending the motion. And you vote on the amendment, and then you go from there.
Or vote on the motion, and we all vote no.
On March 2nd, we received 2 bids. The first
I'm about to find out.
You'll have it here in just a moment for us.
Can't we just do what you said, Paul, and get it over with? Just vote no on the first one,
Sure.
We can.
and then start over?
Do I hear a motion to award the police cruiser bid to Ford of Claremont for $44,467? That didn't match the number you read a minute ago.
4,000 foot.
Have the motion. The motion can, we either have a motion and a second in discussion, or we don't. It's fine, either way, whatever you want to do. So do we hear the motion to, and the motion can always be amended or changed?
Sorry. It's coming.
Who is that? The tape meeting that you're trying to
So we have
research?
the
Yeah.
motion and a second, discussion.
I'd like to know if that's.
Fine. Either way, whatever you want to do.
I believe Kelly
So
made the
do we hear the
motion.
motion to, and the motion can always be amended or changed? or-
Yeah, Kelly made the
Kelly
motion.
made the motion.
Paul Tillman seconded it.
Okay.
Okay, so there you go. So do you want to remove the motion?
Yes.
Yes,
Paul?
yes.
Okay, we're done. Now we start over.
Oh, painful, Batman.
I know. I get it, and it would have been even worse if, I think, if we did the amendments, because then you have to vote on amendments. So, moving forward. Let's have some discussion first. So, the first thing is the Adamson Industries Corporation, for $12,343,000. This is the upfitting of the cruiser.
Hold it.
Where are you?
Did you just hear what you said? 12-something thousand dollars?
Yes.
It's not,
$12,343.
I thought you
It's
said
right
something
here.
else. No, I thought you said something else.
So, that is not an RFP. However, there was request to how many? Company? And you only got one back. So according to the purchasing policy, that comes down to a single supplier criteria outlined in the policy that we can waive the policy under. So that we can do what we want for that, whether you want to award that funding from ARPA or what you're gonna do with it. We could, or we can hold off on that and do it later. I'm trying to organize how we're gonna get to the actual motion. Do you wanna do these things together or not? The recommendation from the town manager is to do it together.
Yeah. But then we have to vote on the purchasing policy and say that we're gonna,
We can include that in the motion,
that we,
just to waive the policy.
we've done that in the past, right?
Yep.
You gotta make a motion to waive the
No,
policy.
right, but we've done that.
I suggest taking them up separately. They're two different things. It's not part of the car.
And in fact,
Obviously, it was done on RFP, outside of the RFP from the car.
right. And that was the question I had, was do you want to do them together or do you want to do them separately? And it might be better to do them separately.
It's probably better to do them separate, just like Dave said, then you can keep track of them, because we're gonna have, if we're gonna vote that not to go with that policy, then we're gonna have to vote that first, then vote the money in, so let's just do the,
Well, you wouldn't vote for the upgrade to outfit if you didn't buy the car.
well, that's what I'm saying, let's figure out the car first.
Hello?
Really? Hello? Yeah.
Yeah.
that's
You put in a
exact-
boat.
So,
Okay. So
are we back where we were?
So now now you're sort of back where you were. But you haven't decided where you want to where's the money going to come from? The motion
Right,
that Brandon has created here, I'm going to drop the outfitting from the motion. So the motion would state, and actually it'll have to be changed. You'll have to give me a minute when I get there. To purchase the 2023 police cruiser from the Ford of Claremont for $44,467,000, of which $25,000 will be paid through the police cruiser reserves. So the balance of that for the cruiser,
Oh, yeah, okay.
right? 44,467 minus 25,000 would be 19,467. Of which would come from the Town's American Rescue Plan Act funding. Okay? Does that make sense? That deals with just the car.
I suggest that you poll the board on that, because we're running through some things here that everybody would need to agree on or not.
I'm fine with that. That's the whole purpose of trying to put this out there is what do you want to do?
You wanna ask me?
Yeah, go
Good.
ahead.
Okay, I got a list here, and I just wanna go procedurally for the record, I'm gonna ask Bill. But actually, this would go to Brandon as well, so, and it goes to some of what I put in my report on a variety of different subjects. My understanding was that the board had made kind of a loose commitment, at least, to have a timeout in the ARPA spending. This far and exceeds that. It's going to be using significant ARPA funds. Is there, for clarification, Bill, is there any equipment from the existing cruiser that's going to be transferred to a new one?
From what I understand, no.
Okay.
They're two different vehicles.
So that's a bit of a change, because last meeting, you thought that you were gonna be able to move some over to it. Okay, so is that included in the 12,343?
Yes,
Oh.
that's everything.
Okay. Why are we accepting the in a bid process, why are we accepting the higher bid of $3,100 for the car?
Because A, the car is available sooner. A second is the cruiser that we're looking to replace needs $3,300, I believe in $63 in repairs. The quote that we got from Twin Line to keep it roadworthy. And I'm being cautious with, when we got the Charger, when we ordered it, there was a delay because of COVID, and then when the car came in, we ended up paying additional $1,500 because they blamed everything on COVID and the cost.
Is there language in the, I wanna keep going, is that okay?
Yes?
Is there language in the bid that but I wanna stay on task here on the bid, because when we put these out for RFPs, typically, and it doesn't matter whether it's a police car or a paving or what have you, we do have a duty to describe why we refuse the low bid, and we're doing it here for $3,100, a little more. So is there language potentially in one of the bids that says, we're holding this bid, yeah, but there might be a price increase, or are they both firm, or I don't care about equipment, I don't care about what you can transfer or what you can't, I'm only talking about the bid.
I didn't read it all the way through, so I couldn't give you that answer right now, so it's too big.
In either of these bids, is there a full 5-year warranty?
No,
Is there any warranty?
just the normal 3,600,000 mile warranty.
I'm not sure about the rest of the board, but that's a problem for me. I'd like to find out what that is, because I'd add that on with our experience in some other things that we bought, including the 2 latest 10-wheeler dump trucks, and I know that we made that commitment to the grader. With today's electric components everywhere, if we're gonna burn up $56,800, that a full 5-year warranty would be on my page.
We don't have the RFPs in front of us, right?
We don't.
No, but he just answered the question. He said that they did not price the
No,
warranty.
at least that, but any other questions to have to do with those, we don't have them with us, in front of us.
Anyway, at the last meeting, for me, I wanted to keep half. It's obviously that the cost of these cars has escalated far beyond what we think. The last cruiser was purchased for $35,000, $36,000?
I believe it was 28,000, and outfitting was about 42,000, I believe was that, after we got done outfitting.
For your car?
Correct.
Okay, so that's different than an SUV.
The 2 Explorers that we had were about 38,000, but they were purchased back in 2016 and 17.
But if the board can tell right now, we're talking about $20,000 higher, and, close, and with the warranty. Again, and I don't want to get into my report, but I do address the police there. I look past this purchase, which I also find that it's a little frustrating for me, because I wish now that it got taken up under the budget process for the voters to decide. But having said that, I still support leaving an amount of money in the reserve account for half of a cruiser, and the reason why is, the ARPA funds cannot be transferred to a reserve for the future purchase of another cruiser. It can only be used for the purchase of something. Now, the treasurer and the town manager here, are you absolutely certain that we could use ARPA funds for a vehicle?
I am.
So there, and what I'm trying to do is measure whatever we're talking about here to the next purchase, because remember, if we only leave 10,000 and then the ARPA funds are only gonna be allocating a certain amount, then that's it. This is a one-time deal. These ARPA funds are gonna have to be totally committed by the end of 25?
24.
Okay, even worse.
Yeah. Next June.
Right. If an amount of money, how many dollars are left in the ARPA funds now? Wasn't it 300 and something thousand? 310?
I think the reconciliation you did, Steve, last week, but we're still catching up on it. It was 381,000, but I think there's a few things that need to be backed out.
Three what?
381.
381? So a little caution flag would be that some of the things that we've committed to ARPA funds may, even though they're bids, even though they're monies that we just expended, may require more money that we don't know about yet on a same kind of project. What happens, for instance, if something is found in a building when something is taken apart from the building and needs a repair? It's gonna require additional cost. You just don't know until you get into stuff. It's like when I take apart something in my house or your house or whatever, you think you're gonna replace the bathroom and all of a sudden all the plumbing lets go. You know, what is, who's fast with the calculator?
One second.
What is
On
the
that,
dollar
only-
amount?
I just want to respond. So if we have if we got a bid for something, and then I thought that you take into account if something like that would happen, meaning there's got to be some sort of accounting when somebody does a job, that they're accounting for unforeseens. I mean, just saying, I hope we hold people to, if,
Accountable.
yeah, I hope we hold people accountable, and that, because I wouldn't be very pleased. I mean, I understand something, but there's got to be money that's been put in for, when people make bids, for unforeseens.
Yeah.
Contingency.
I guess it depends. We ran into a problem here when we did these walls, then the estimate was what it was, and then we had to come with more money. So it's not unusual to find something that you weren't prepared for.
Okay, but I look at 381,000 and spending 31,000. I don't see that the count's going to be in danger if we have something come up. And then there's also, as we've talked about, using the ARPA funds, using them for leverage against other funding that's available, which we keep hearing there's lots of money and lots of programs that we can go and get other assistance from. And in that case, we've used the ARPA fund to leverage those funds.
Where did you come up with 31,000?
That's what's left over
I'm just using the number that was
after we
in,
use
that
the
was
25 grand.
in the packet for now. But right now would be only 20, right now, on just the cruiser, right now would be 19,000. 19,467. Which is less than 10% of
That's
what the
without
balance of the
that's
ARPA
without the
is.
outfit though.
Excuse me?
That's without being
That's
outfitted.
without the outfit.
I understand that.
Right.
Yeah,
We're
that's
only
what I was
not, we're not
telling him.
dealing with that right now. We're dealing with just the cruiser.
But you're quoting the proposal that's on the sheet here.
I used the $31,000 number. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it
It's
should be
19,000. Okay?
19,467.
Yeah, but I know you backed into the number, but it's on this prepared by the town manager.
But that's not what we're dealing with right now. We're dealing only with the car right now.
If-
What do you want to do about the car?
If we
We don't
want to
have a
leave
motion.
money in there, if we want to leave the money in the reserve, why can't we just use all ARPA funds for the whole thing and just pay for the whole thing that way? Then that way we have at least the half amount to pay for another police car the next time around already in there.
Brandon, you proposed to me a plan that was moving forward. So let me ask, I think Dave started to ask these questions. What's the life expectancy of a cruiser is mine? And Dave started to ask, what's the next cruiser replacement date expected after this one?
I'm gonna direct those to Bill.
So we get generally 5 years out of a car, and then at that point, we're around 100,000 miles, which is where you start needing parts for it. Unfortunately, what's happened with us is we've had 2 cars in our fleet, one got in an accident, put high miles on it, et cetera. We're looking probably 3 years, 3 to 4 years, because right now the car that we got last year has 22,000 miles on it. That's why we go for a 5-year term. So if we get one now, we're probably looking at 3 years to put in for the next car, which we'll get within the 4th year.
Okay, so Brandon, your plan, you have a plan of how to deal with that. Would you explain that to the board?
So our plan was to leave $10,000 in the account right now, and then next year we're receiving the SIU grant again, so that's $10,000. And then we believe that we'll have $10,000 to transfer to reserves at year end, to the police cruiser reserves from contracted services and SIU and so forth.
And I recommended to you to also add.
So it's 30,000.
And I recommended to you to add a discussion when we get to the budget season this year of an article for an undetermined amount at this time, which is what you were saying earlier, Dave, to go to the voters and get some money to put in that account. I think, well, sort of, you were saying that.
And sorry,
go ahead.
we don't know the amount that we would request on a special article yet, but we're going to we're trying to finish the fire departments, and then our next stop was either highway or police for the capital plan, and that'll determine how much money we would need to follow the capital plan.
Okay. Paul?
All right, so my recommendation, without a motion here, but my recommendation, the car is $44,467. I don't necessarily like bringing it down to 10,000 either, like Dave said. Why don't we just drop another 10,000 in there? We put 15,000 down, and that'll give us $29,467 from ARPA, which we have until June next year to spend. So that's gonna come up real quick, and we've got $380-something thousand in there. That would be my recommendation.
What do you drop on the, what would
So
that
would
leave the reserve to?
20,000 in the reserve.
Even, not?
Yeah,
Oh,
20,000.
I just following the math.
Yeah, no, another 10, so that would be like you were recommended, maybe like half of what a car is. Then if you get some of this other money that he's talking about, maybe we'll get close to, when we have to replace one, we have the money in there. Just, you know, Mike, Wendy.
So 15,000 comes from reserves and 29,000 from ARPA. Wendy?
Yeah.
I just want to agree with Dave as far as the warranty, doing a 5-year extended warranty.
I do
really-
too.
Because, I mean, even if that had to come out of ARPA or whatever it had to do, I really don't want to be purchasing something without a warranty. I completely agree on that.
Oh, yeah, that I'd like to see too, but I just meant.
Worth the money. Yep.
So how do we word a motion to include that? Or do you want to do that separately as well?
We don't know how much it is.
That's right. That's the
You
point.
can't do it right now. Can we do it after the fact, like next meeting, just the warranty?
What we did, I think it was the first Explorer that we bought. We got the quote from them because you have 6 months when you purchase it.
Right, yeah.
To get the extended warranty.
So we can come back and ask for that and see.
Doc, when I bought the Charger, they don't offer the extended warranty on the Charger, unfortunately.
If we were going to get the warranty, the money would be coming out of ARPA anyway. So we could move forward with the motion on the vehicle and the proposal that Paul just made, and then a phone call to Ford, find out what that warranty is going to cost. The next meeting, we could vote on that, correct?
The next, yeah, yes.
Just to pull that money from
And-
ARPA
and
to
I'm-
cover the expense of
Yep.
the warranty package. I agree as well, that's been working very well for us with the department, the highway crew, the highway department.
I'll make a motion, then see if it goes anywhere. So I make a motion to purchase the 2023 police cruiser from Ford of Claremont for $44,467. And where 15,000 will,
Come from the police cruiser
yeah,
reserve.
police cruiser reserve. And that'll leave, $29,467 to be paid from the ARPA money.
Do I hear a s-
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion on the motion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. That part's done, and then we'll cross the,
You-
now- now
Okay,
do
don't
you-
worry about it. I asked if you had it right there.
Let me, can I ask?
Yeah, yes, yes, go
And you might already be going into this, but do you wanna, do we need to even worry about the extra stuff right now, or can we take that up at the same time we take up the warranty and just do everything at once?
I'm fine with doing it either way. Do you want to have a discussion so we understand now while we're here, or do you want to get rid of this for tonight and move on?
I mean, sorry, it's kinda up to
Is
you,
it-
but.
I have a question.
Go ahead.
Was that a bid, Bill? Was that a bid of 12,343? Did that hold for, our next meeting's not for what, 3 weeks, is it, or, I don't know, you'd have to look at the calendar.
Yeah, how long does that hold for?
They said once we give them the okay,
No, but the talk up here is don't make a motion on it tonight, but wait until next meeting to also be able to have the number from the warranty taken up as a separate issue.
so, is it the warranty you want?
No.
No, my
No,
question
but
was.
the upfitting, the cost of the upfitting, is that like an RFP? It's got a date on it, a time expired?
I believe that one was 60 days when they gave it to us, from the time they gave it.
Okay, so that'll be okay until the next meeting?
Yes.
And we could do the warranty and this at the same time? Okay. And let's just be, when we bring that in, let's just make sure we understand that you did submit that to 3 people. I think you said we only got 1 response. We can waive that. We'll deal with that at the next meeting. Okay, so we're done with the cruiser for tonight, and this will be on the agenda for the next meeting.
Hold on, sorry.
Excuse me?
Uh,
Oh, that's right, that's right.
Before we leave this subject,
Yep,
I'd like to comment on something that I believe was said at the last meeting, because I think it needs to be commented on. Well, I feel like I need to make a comment, and it also is germane to what might happen in the future. I wasn't here last week, but I understand that in the process of talking about last year's SUI grant and contractor patrol money, the term misappropriation of funds was used. And so misappropriation of funds means the illegal use of somebody else's money. And a synonym to that is embezzlement. So I want to make absolutely clear to the board and the public that there was no misappropriation of funds last year. What occurred was a miscommunication among town officials, or a misunderstanding as to whether or not we needed to go to the board and ask for some of that money to be transferred into the cruiser reserve fund. But there was no misappropriation of funds. So moving forward now, if there is going to be any use of this year's contract patrol money or any other funds, we need to, before June 30th, we need to come to the board and request that that be moved into the reserve fund. I think that's the piece that was missing a year ago. So I think it's incumbent on all of us to make sure there's a mutual agreement and understanding as to whether or not we need to add any funds of that nature between now and the end of this fiscal year into the cruiser reserve fund.
Thank you for clarification.
yeah,
Thank you.
thank you for
Thank you.
clarifying that for us, Steve. Appreciate it. You've got a handle on that?
Yep.
Good. Okay. All right. Next item on the agenda, town manager update. Thank you, Bill.
So I just have a couple of things tonight. The first is Norwich Technologies. Town council and I have been working with Norwich Technologies to discuss the net metering agreement. So when the net metering agreement was put in place, we believe that there were certain meters that were assumed to be included in that net metering agreement. So those include the fire departments, the Ascutney Water District, and the libraries, and the library. So we're currently working, or town council is working with Norwich to determine if we need separate net metering agreements or whether to include them in our net metering agreement. And we have a call on Thursday to talk about that. Roofing projects, Connecticut River Roofing, the building inspector and I held a meeting last week and signed contracts for the Martin Memorial Hall project, the town garage roof replacement project. The West Weathersfield Fire Department required additional discussion. The inspector and Ira Brusso went over and did a walkthrough of that department and provided a recommendation on how to move forward. And we have a call tomorrow to talk more about that. Capital planning, like I had said a little while ago, we're currently working on the fire department's capital plan, and then we'll be moving on to highway, police, and other departments to include technology and so forth. Our hazard mitigation plan, following the award from VEM, we advertised an RFP, and those are due on March 30th. So once those bids come back, then I'll put them on the agenda, or I'll ask Mike to put them on the agenda for review. Other projects, the generator project is scheduled to move forward in April. An RFP, I should have an RFP ready to be advertised for a reappraisal by the end of the month. The Martin Memorial Hall drainage project continues to be on our radar, and we discussed adding that to the next Martin Memorial Hall Board of Trustees meeting, which takes place in April. The wastewater feasibility study has been approved with a 100% subsidy, so that will be moving forward. More information on that probably in the next meeting. There is a new municipal energy resilience program that has been released that we're looking into. Just a reminder, the transfer station punch ticket will increase effective April 1st. We worked with all of the businesses that sell punch tickets and coordinated the transition. Doolittle's has provided updated punch tickets that reflect the cost difference.
Will the old ones still be good, or do they have to get new ones?
Yeah,
to
the old
make up
ones will still be good
Okay.
until
Till they're
they're
gone.
used, yeah.
Okay.
Any other questions? I had just one, I think, on other projects. The wastewater feasibility study was approved with 100% subsidy.
Yes.
Didn't we have ARPA funds designated to a portion of that?
No.
Oh, okay.
That was the application the board approved, I believe, back in July. And we hadn't received notice for a while, and Representative Arison reached out to them and assisted with coordinating an approval.
Okay. Any questions from anybody on the report?
Thank you.
Hearing none. Board of Liquor Control Commissioners. I hereby convene the Board of Liquor Control Commissioners to review and approve the aforementioned or below-mentioned second-class liquor licenses. Do we have... We have Global Montel Group Corporation, Global Montel Group Corporation DBA, Jiffy Mart and Downers. One's in Escutney, one's in Downers. Fireside Beverage LLC, DBA Fireside Beverage LLC. JW Sandry Incorporated, DBA Sandry number 204, that's the Sunoco gas station. And Scott Rogers LLC, DBA the Escutney Market. These are second-class liquor licenses. Are there any questions?
I have a comment.
Go.
The town clerk was out today sick, and we don't have the paperwork with us to sign. So if the board would like to approve them tonight and sign later, or we could add this to the next agenda.
Are they,
These are time sensitive.
I'm sorry, two things. I know that, and I had one person actually ask me about them because they were getting close. My question though, if we approve them tonight, are they legal then, or do they have to be signed to be legal?
Gotta be signed.
Well, they gotta be signed, but we can still vote on it, and then once the documents are,
Just come in here.
we can come in and sign it.
I'd say just vote on it so we know we're going ahead with it, not wait any longer.
I'll have the documents in the morning too, and I can drive around and collect your signatures. if you don't
I
want to
can
come back
stop
to the
in
town
on the way
hall.
home from work.
I almost think it's gotta be notarized. I think these are pretty official, and I think for the minutes, they've got to be,
Gotta
the
say
names have
each
gotta
one.
be in.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't just say we approve all the second-class
No.
licenses, no.
So, I'm
The
gonna-
names are,
Right, yeah, everything has to be in there, yeah.
So I'm gonna go through, I'll make a motion that we approve the Global, Montel, Group Corp. DBA as Jiffy Mart number 466 Ascutney. Just do one each separate, right? Yeah.
well, I think you can do them as a group, but
Okay,
I don't wanna interrupt, but I think you should say second-class liquor license, because there's a difference between that and first
Yeah,
class.
okay,
Yes.
then I apologize, you're right, so, yeah, so start the motion off to approve the second-class liquor licenses, and then for the number one that I just read, number two is Global, Montello Group Corp. DBA, Jiffy Mart number 437 Downers. Number three is the Fireside Beverage LLC, doing business as the Fireside Beverage LLC. Number four is JW Sandry Inc., DBA Sandry number 204, and that's a Sunoco gas station. And number five is Scott Rogers LLC, DBA Scotney Market.
Do I hear a second?
Yep, second.
Motion's been made in second, any discussion?
Bill's gone, but you're not aware of any problems, Brandon?
I'm not.
That's exactly what I was gonna ask, if there were any issues or any changes that were noticed. No? Any other questions? Hearing none, all in favor of the second-class liquor license for the,
Four more names.
the aforementioned, five, businesses, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. And tobacco licenses,
I'll
need a motion.
I'll make the motion for that too. So I'll make a motion that we approve the tobacco licenses for Global Montel Group Corp. DBA, Jiffy Mart number 466 Ascutney, for Global Montel Group Corporation DBA, Jiffy Mart number 437 Downers, 3 for Scott Rogers LLC DBA Ascutney Market, and number 4, JW Sandry Inc., DBA Sandry number 204, Sunoco gas station.
Do I hear a second?
Yes.
Motion's been made in second for tobacco licenses. Any further discussion? Same questions? Any issues?
I have not heard any issues.
Anybody else? Hearing none, all those in favor of tobacco license for four aforementioned companies in the motion signify by saying aye.
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 Finance report.
All right, so the general fund continues to be a concern. Monthly finance reports are being completed and new projections are made month to month. Period 8 actuals is, we're currently at 65% in revenues and 68% in expenses. Projections in the general fund have been made again for this period. The most concerning issue is the Ascutney Fire Department budget, which is projected to end the year with a deficit of $26,703, as discussed previously. This deficit was established by overspending the supplies account by $20,858 and overspending the vehicle maintenance account by $4,553. Spending freezes have been issued throughout the general fund in an effort to offset these over expenditures and revenue shortfalls. When the town clerk and I sat down, it looks like the town clerk will also have a revenue shortfall. Any questions on the general fund?
When you total all these up, how much they come to?
The
60,000 approximately?
No. Because 20,800, it's incorporated in the 26.7, if you read that correctly. Am I wrong?
Yes. So it's 26,703 for the Ascutney Fire Department budget.
2,000.
Oh, I see.
39.
Yep.
39,000 plus the town clerk? 40,000.
36,917 is what I have. But I met with Josh today, and he's trying to reduce some of his expenses to offset.
If you just add these just for a minute, If you, oh, okay, you got, so it's really 26,700 plus 9, okay.
Yeah.
Because those two numbers, don't okay, I follow you now.
Yep.
36,000, yeah. Why is the town clerk's office in the hole?
Well, they wouldn't be, but when we looked at their revenues, it didn't appear that they were coming in as planned.
Didn't we plan that? Don't we work on a budget to make it so that we wouldn't be in the hole there?
Revenues are projected.
Yeah, you can't,
Oh, I got you.
you make the best estimated prediction that you can make.
I think somebody's commenting there's no sound.
That was from earlier tonight.
Okay,
okay.
Steve had his hand up. Steve?
I don't wanna complicate things, but I would wanna make sure you understand that this is in addition to the $90,000 deficit budget that we budgeted for. Because we used total of about $95,000 worth of fund balance to balance this year's budget. $95,000 worth of money we already have in the bank. So we don't count that as revenue again. So this budget, if everything went according to what we had budgeted, we spent exactly what we budgeted, we got in exactly what we had for revenue, we have a $95,000 deficit, which would be wiped out by $95,000
Right.
fund balance, okay?
Mhm.
So that would balance the budget. So what we're talking about tonight is in addition to that
Yeah.
$95,000.
Right.
Yeah.
Just didn't want people to be surprised when the audit comes in and the deficit is like 125,000.
Right.
Yeah, we weren't talking about that.
Oh, no, I will be. Money's money.
Yep, so that's absolutely correct. And you know, what we're trying to do right now is freeze other expenses to cover these over expenditures.
Oh, like,
Yes. Go, Wendy. I'm sorry.
I might have lost my train of thought, but anyways. So I'm just curious, you have spoken with the department head and have a plan? There's a plan in place, I'm assuming,
Well-
besides the freeze, but,
Yeah, so because of again, the over expenditure, we're having to absorb that because we have a set budget for the end of the year that the voters approved. So in essence, we're cutting, 26,703 from all the other departments, plus trying to offset, the town clerk potential revenue, shortfall of 4,500.
Any other questions on the general fund?
All right, highway fund. The highway department revenues are at 65% and are projected to be at 101% at year end, or $6,081 more than anticipated. Expenditures are currently at 65% and are projected to end the year at 96%. At year end, based on this period's projections, I'll keep doing them every month. I anticipate a fund balance of $52,209 for this year. In addition, we have a cumulative fund balance of $68,623, although the annual audit states that we have $115,000. Keep in mind, we used $46,000 to reduce the tax need in the FY24 budget, so that reduced the audited cumulative fund balance. So at this time, I anticipate a combined cumulative fund balance of $120,913. Solid waste fund fixed revenues are at 109%, which is $10,000 more than anticipated. I don't anticipate any additional fixed revenues through year end, except for, lingering additional permit stickers that may come in, but nothing significant. Fixed expenses are currently at $99,368 and are projected to end the year at $126,847. Net fixed revenue expense is projected to be $48.77. Variable revenues are currently at 62% and variable expenses are currently at 72%. So expenses are exceeding revenues by 10% right now. The punch ticket increase will go into effect on April 1st, so we're hoping that that kind of absorbs some of it, but it's only a few months worth of having the increase in place. So we'll be monitoring this closely month to month, and I'll let you know. I'll give you another finance report next month.
Any questions for the town manager?
Yes.
Go.
It's gonna tag into the next subject. When you calculated an anticipated FY '23 surplus in the highway,
Yes.
does that number include or exclude the next item on the agenda, which is 50,000 in paving?
It excludes.
Excludes?
It was anticipated to be
Yes,
spent.
it is anticipated to be spent, the whole 50,000 for paving.
So your report that you just gave,
Yep,
the number,
50,000 is included in the projections.
It's all being spent, not as a balance.
is it, are you using 50,000 for, so that the projected cumulative balance will be less than 120 by 50?
It'll be the same.
Okay.
It'll be the same.
Yeah,
if
That
we
answers
vote.
my
We
question.
projected that we're gonna spend 50,000, just guessing.
Did we line item in the FY '23 budget for 50,000 for paving?
Yes.
Okay. I'm fine with that. I just didn't know, it's part of your report.
Yeah, so when I do these projections, I meet with the departments and we go through month to month what they plan to spend. And that's how we arrive at those numbers.
Any further questions? Next item, Quarry Road paving.
All right, so we advertised an RFP to pave Quarry Road on February 9th. We held a pre-bid conference on the 22nd at 10 a.m. Bids were due on March 10th at 2 p.m. All bids were open in a public meeting and read aloud with the town clerk on March 13th at 3 p.m. We received 3 bids. The total project cost from Springfield Paving was $64,164. Basin Brothers came in at $69,700, and Pike Industries came in at $51,250. So we're recommending to move forward with Pike Industries for a total cost of $51,250. We do have, as I mentioned previously, $50,000 in the paving budget, so we would exceed that budget line item by $1,250.
I'll make a motion to award the Corey Road paving project to Pike Industries for a total cost not to exceed $51,250 to be completed before June 30th, 2023.
Do I hear a second?
Yes,
Motion's made and seconded. Further discussion?
yes.
Go.
Is Pike clear that that's to be completed by June 30?
Correct, they wanna get it done actually sooner.
They do.
I mean, they wanna get right on it, if they can.
What's the length of
.38 miles.
.38?
Last year, we put it out to bid, and it came in at $132 a ton, and I didn't even bring it to the board. I waited.
Mhm.
So,
Any further discussion? Any other questions? Motion on the floor. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Appointments. Are there any appointments? Accept the resignation of Jeff Pelton and Roy Burton from the Conservation Commission. We need a motion to accept those?
I believe so.
I'll make a motion to accept the resignation of Jeff Pelton and Roy Burton from the Conservation Commission.
Do I hear a second?
I'll second.
Motion's made and second. Any discussion? Have there been any replacement requests or ideas or anything yet?
We advertised the 2 additional vacancies on the agenda tonight.
Okay. Any questions? Hearing none, all in favor of accepting the resignation signify by saying aye.
Aye.
There are some appointment people over here, correct?
I see that. Yeah, let's go ahead and do that next. Appointments. 1870, need a motion. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Yeah, before we go do that, though, okay, so 0 vacancies. We talked about that last time, and I guess I'm not sure where we left off. Zero vacancy means after, if we appoint these people, there's zero, or there's no vacancies right now?
There's no vacancies right now, so what you would do is expand the committee.
You'd have to vote to expand the committee, or make them alternates or something.
Yeah,
How's the board feel about expanding the committee? How many members are on the committee now?
7.
Wow.
you know,
22.
Personally, I think 7 is enough
Yeah,
on a board.
and before I would do that to a board, I would hope that we would have the chair of the board or talk to the board and find out if they were okay. They might say, I want more people, or they might not.
Yeah.
So,
When did these people apply for these?
I'd have to look back at their application, I'm not sure.
I hope that it wasn't on March 10th. Because that would have met the deadline that was outlined on the town website
Correct.
for consideration prior to appointments. But I don't know how many weighers of coal that we need, but I think we appointed 3 last time.
we did.
So I did check with town, VLCT, and we can have as many ware of coal as we
All right, well, I'm just for purposes of moving along here, I guess I'll appoint, or I'll make a motion that we appoint Peter Daniels to the SWC Regional Commission.
And that's a Mount Ascutney Regional Commission now.
Mark, yeah. Mount Scotty.
MARC.
MARC.
Sorry.
Yeah, right, you're right. I should have picked up on that myself. All right,
I think you could do a few though, right? You can do Dylan Brown, you
them all.
can
We
do
can
John, you
do all
can
the
do
rest.
Rachel.
all right, then fine, I'll do the next, sorry, thank you. Vermont, Veterans Memorial, Dylan Brown, Layer of Coal, John Arison, and the Zoning Board of Adjustment, Grace Knight.
Second to the motion?
Yeah.
Motion's been made and seconded to appoint 4 individuals. Any discussion?
So you're just
What
leaving
about
out
the Bever-
1879?
Thank you, okay, never mind.
Yeah, we're gonna leave out, well, I was gonna leave out the schoolhouse, because there's no vacancies left, so.
What if we do alternates? 2 alternates that can sit in the case 2 members can't be there.
I was just gonna say
I
that,
would come back to Paul's comment and say, how's the chair feel about that?
well, I was just gonna say, Beverly
no chair
Strobel
right now.
she's the head of the, I just thought that was probably kind of was a good fitting, because she's head of the,
Food
food
shelf.
bank. Yeah, food shelf. Would be a good voice there, that's all
There you
I'm
go.
saying.
All right, then-
So name them as alternates?
Yeah, and I'm fine, we'll make an amendment to it then, so that we'll appoint as alternates to the 1879 Schoolhouse Committee, Beverly Strobel and Karen McGee.
Seconds, okay?
Yeah.
Okay, there's been an amendment to the motion. Any further discussion?
Yeah, can I ask something?
Yes.
Is Karen McGee even a resident of the town of Weathersfield? Do you not have to be?
You don't actually
Okay.
have to be. The
I just was
majority of
curious.
the board needs to be,
Okay.
but not all members need to be. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Thank you. You want to do any other business next before the warrants? We'll move, I'm going to move that. We need to go back to, I think it's back, isn't it? Certificate of compliance for town road and bridges.
Oh.
I see is in our packet.
That was here.
Do I hear a motion to accept this?
So moved.
Do I hear a second?
I'll second.
Is that Dave or Wendy?
Either or.
Or
No, Kelly,
it
you
was
missed.
Kelly? Kelly this
Kelly.
time?
You
Thanks,
missed.
Steve.
Thank you, Steve, very much. Thank you for your time. We, the legislative body of the municipality of Weathersfield, certify we've reviewed and understand and comply with the town road and bridge standards, public works specifications, and standards passed and adopted by the select board, city council, village board of trustees on. That date will need to be inputted for signature. Do you have that?
Yep,
What is it?
there's a.
Is it blank over there?
Yeah, it's blank. Yep.
Okay, so I guess it's today. So 3/20/23, we further certify that our adopted standards do meet or exceed the minimum requirements included in the June 5th, 2019 state approved template. And we further certify that we do have an updated highway network inventory. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Yep.
which identified as location, size, deficiencies, conditions of roads, bridges, causeways, culverts, and highway-related retaining walls on class 1, 2, and 3 town highways, and estimated cost of repair. There is a motion to accept this and sign it. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. And that takes care of any other business?
Yes.
Oh,
I'd like to see, since we've gone through these, there was a time when the board received all RFPs that went out, and I'd really like to see that, us return to that, because learning about these things that go out earlier, gives opportunity to weigh in on questions and doesn't bog meetings down, if we know about stuff.
okay. Brandon,
RFPs.
you hear that?
To release the,
We'd like to see them in our packets and stuff.
okay. So the reason I excluded those a while ago is because the board told me that the packet was too long when I included those.
But some of them are pretty, like, important, because we need to, we're the ultimate body that votes on the monies. So it really is kind of important to be aware of RFPs that are going out, so they don't turn out to be surprises.
Okay.
I don't know, I'm not the
So
board.
you wanna know
I'm
if
not
they
the
are?
board, but I'd like to know, I'd like to see us have knowledge of stuff going out.
Yeah,
Do you want it in a separate attachment, or is it okay to include it within the
I don't
packet?
know, I'm just saying that
I think probably separate attachment for now, but I'm digital,
Because
so I don't mind
this is
seeing it.
internal work that you're doing. You're sending out RFPs.
Yeah,
And then they come into you and they're opened and, you know, the bid process is revealed.
yes.
And that's what we go on.
Now, I do put all the RFPs right on the website under purchasing and bids, so we could just click on that,
I got you.
instead of including it in the packet. I'm just trying to figure out a way not to make the
Yeah,
packet so
I don't know if
clustered.
I'd block up the packet with it, because actually that's not something we're doing, it's something you're doing.
Yep.
It's just for our information to have.
Okay.
So that could come out in a separate email to the board members.
I'm not talking about specs. I'm just talking about, hey,
Okay.
I'm putting an RFP up for a police car. Then
I
somebody's
see.
gonna say,
Okay.
wait a minute, where does that fit in the capital purchase plan? What about the loans? What about this? What about that?
And I think it also helps to keep it in order, Dave, like you said about, you know, this probably should have been brought up about 3-4 months ago.
It's over the top, that's all.
Yeah.
I don't need all to see how many wheels the car has. I don't need to see that. We'll get to that point, but it is kind of important. One of them's gonna be reappraisal.
So it actually is something he could put in his town report, that he's
Manager
doing-
report.
Yeah, town manager's report. You can just include it there.
So the full
Just tell us to
RFP or
check.
just a heads up?
Just
No,
a heads up, just a
Okay.
heads up that you're doing
A
it.
title.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
fair and
Sending out
reasonable.
RFPs for this week or whatever.
Okay.
Because I agree, I didn't know about that either.
That's a good idea, Dave, thanks.
I had one?
You have
So
a
I,
lot of
so just,
Finally, Kelly.
I don't
So-
have anything on that, but I just have, under other business,
ideas.
I just would like to make a comment. I did go to the library's town challenge on Saturday, and there were quite a few people that asked why we didn't have a team there. So I just want you to know that they were asking.
Good ideas, that's why.
Yeah, and I also would like to make a comment on the power outage that we had for a while there. I don't understand why we didn't reach out to the school and let people use their showers. I mean, I know we had a warming shelter here, but none of the warming shelters have showers, and the school had power, and their locker rooms do have showers.
I think the school could work with the emergency management director.
That has to be all pre-approved, because the school is open, and the kids are there. And you don't want people that you don't know going in there to use the
Correct.
facilities.
Right.
That
Yeah,
all
well,
has to
that
be
would- that
that
would
all has
only
to
be-
pre-approved way ahead of
right.
time. So that's why it didn't happen this one.
I think the emergency, can I talk?
Yes,
I think the emergency management team ought to be aware of what happened during the outage. During the outage, my farm was out of power for 55 hours. We contacted GMP on Tuesday at about 10 o'clock saying that we were out. On, I don't know, Wednesday or Thursday, they assured us that we were gonna be back on by, they're pretty good about it usually when they estimate the time. You know, I think I recall it was like 6:50 or something, you're gonna have power back. and the crews were around Reservoir Road. 7:30 came and went, no power. I called back in. The system said, you have power. I don't know what you're calling about. The reporting system needs to be, I don't know if I'm alone, I'm not alone, because I'm 9 on that line. They fixed the power, some of it to go to the campground, but the fuse was not put back on one of the lines that went up to us. So, we were out for another day, 24 more hours. I'm surprised my generator didn't blow up, 55 hours straight. Setting aside the fact that there was no power, when we reported, the system said that we had power, but we did not. We had to go back to square one to say that we were out of power, which went on for another day. So the reporting system wasn't exactly accurate. Somebody got in that system and said that the line was fixed, and it wasn't me. I didn't climb up on the thing and put the fuse in. So, if the emergency directors or whatever's going on to try to assess or whatever, to go over some different things, there definitely was that case. What, you know, what you could do better, what you do, what to do not. That's the longest I've ever been out without power in the 1977. 55 hours.
It's a long time to be without power.
And I did talk to Dave, and we have Vermont Alert. Is anybody signed up for Vermont Alert?
I haven't, but you gave me the link and I was going to.
We have a little over 3,000 people that are signed up in Windsor County. So we're going to start advertising to sign up for Vermont Alert, because we can actually send out an alert and it hits all the people that are signed up for it instantly. And we did send out an alert on.
You did immediately do what I said, which was say, send out a message right now that says for every Weathersfield resident that was without a power to call back in right now.
Yeah.
Because there was no way of knowing that they too didn't get told, well, you got power, and they didn't know that they were out of power.
Right, right, because you had already done it once.
Right, and then they said that I had power.
Yeah.
And I didn't.
Yeah.
So they didn't know that I had no power.
See, and he told me about that, but I didn't quite understand that that's what happened.
Not everybody gets that information. If I don't have power, I don't have internet or anything. I have absolutely nothing.
Do you have service on your cell phone?
No.
Oh, wow. I don't either.
I
at my
have
house.
nothing.
We're on the same boat.
So, lucky, knock on wood, we had power. We never lost power.
See, and Dave, I wish I had known that, because I do have a direct line into GMP. And I don't know if you still have that or not from when you were emergency management director or not.
I got the 886 number. I mean, I know a lot of people.
The last one we had.
Not the right one.
I was able to dial in and get right to a person. And,
They found out it was me and said no.
no, they said, we know.
No.
Go ahead, Rick.
Run around the pole.
While we're on the subject of the power being out, I just want to publicly say to everybody that tried to call the highway garage during the storm, the highway department had no power for a day and a half, so I had a lot of repeat calls and some upset people about trees being down that weren't being taken care of. I didn't get the messages until I got power back on Wednesday night. So, in our defense, the internet was down, everything was dead, so we had no power at all.
That's all right. I just weaved in and out of them.
But,
You know, it's
and
really,
again, don't call the highway department for trees down with wires. There's nothing we can do. We appreciate the heads up, but, people seem to be I got repeat calls. They seem to be frustrated that their tree hadn't been taken care of yet with power
Sure.
lines. And they kept calling me, but I didn't, like I said, I never got any of the messages until,
and even if you did, you can't do anything about it.
correct. I passed them on to Rick Bates, and he would notify Green Mountain Power.
Yep.
So, speaking of power out, we absolutely, and I don't want to like make this turning into a project like Martin Hall here, but Ray has come to me a few times, and I thought this was all off the ground about having the thing about at least having some generator system to get them diesel fuel.
Yeah.
They were at the pumps here in Escutney trying to get fuel because Downers was out, they were out. What's going on? I don't think we need a sophisticated thing. I think we should just give the green light to let them do that.
I talked to Dave because he has a hand crank tank in his front yard.
They was gonna use some,
In case I needed it, I could.
I don't take it.
Was it hook right on?
Well,
crank
you
it
and I
out?
talked about that during the last
Crank it out by hand.
outage.
Yeah.
Right,
Yeah.
about,
I know it was
having-
on the agenda, that's why I brought it up at the last meeting, because I know we transitioned to worry about the,
and I talked to you about it too.
Yep.
yeah, you guys had asked him to work on the, grant for this place, so that's why I just brought it up last meeting, just as a reminder.
Okay. What's that?
Put it on future agenda items.
Yeah,
Look at that. That's what we-
yeah. That's to look into a supply, a storage supply, I guess, and an ability to at least get some out. Do I hear a motion on the warrants?
I have a question about the warrants.
Well, let's get the motion.
So I'll make
first.
I'll make a motion to approve the warrants for meeting of March 20th, 2023. General fund payroll is $15,377.67. Operating expense, $73,817.06. Highway fund payroll, $9,638.91. Operating expense, $26,953.34. Solid waste payroll, $1,706.85. Operating expense is $87,801.04. Library looks like payroll is $2,112.40. Library grant is $35. ARPA roof is $200. Grand totals of payroll is $28,835.83. And operating expense $188,806.44.
Do I hear a second?
I'll second.
Motion's been made and seconded. Questions? Dave?
Yes, I don't see any payroll here, so I'm not sure how we can vote on it. Neither is any on the website.
Well, I had it at home. I just don't have it on this
There's nothing on
one.
the website, because I looked at it before I came, but
Oh,
there's nothing here about
I looked at it in
payroll.
the packet he sent me, it was all on there, but it's not on this
There
one.
isn't any, you can't find anybody what they
No.
got paid. And I realize that payroll goes out without board approval, but the board signs off on final approval.
I'm just saying that. So, I'm sorry, but last week the warrant came into me too late, to the point where I could not review the warrant prior to sending it out to you. And I addressed that this week, and now I'm saying that payroll is not included in it.
Well, you did say there's gonna be spending freezes.
That's one way to do it.
Payroll, Ray.
That was good.
But I am, can I comment?
Yes, sir.
I am saying, I hope everybody understands this, the checks are gone, okay? They're automatically gone. The only things that we technically approve here are the vendors that we can hold out. The payroll is all direct deposit. Oh, if somebody picks, I don't think anybody picks up the hand checks. If they are, that's a little backwards. But they're electronically gone. But I don't see them in this packet. I'm not sure how the motion can include something that's not here. And I know absolutely that it's not on the website either, which is
Well,
posted.
the motion can, I think, as long as those
Totals right?
documents are correct, which we don't know. That's the hiccup. We can vote on these numbers, and you can get the documents to run around with tomorrow with the other documents you gotta get, run around with.
Yes.
And we can get the signatures done. But if there's a conflict, then there's a problem.
Right.
Right?
So are you saying in that packet that the, stuff that's in there is wrong?
I can't give you an opinion because I didn't have the ability to review it.
Oh.
Of the vendors, of all the other besides
Well,
payroll?
my packet, I thought I got a packet at home for this week that had payroll in it as well as all the vendors.
So, yes, there was when I did my initial review today, and I looked at it, I noticed that there were highway expenditures in the general fund.
Yes,
them to
because
correct
that's on my question list. See, because I did see it. You're
I know
making
that
me
you
think
guys
I'm
like to
seeing
get your
things.
packets on Thursdays, and
Yeah.
I sent it,
So you had you corrected that online.
I corrected it. And then, I guess when that was corrected, it didn't include payroll and it only included AP. And then that was posted online without payroll.
So
which
I
is
did see
another
it then.
whole issue.
Okay. I did see it.
And we are working to fix that issue. It's just gonna take a couple, I'm hoping the next warrant that's received doesn't have as many errors.
Or we're probably gonna be in an executive session about personnel, correct? Does that sum it up without crossing too many lines?
Read my report.
Oh, I will.
Right, so what do we need to do here then?
We can't.
So then you're gonna have to call a special meeting, because you can't wait until next meeting, right?
No, you have the, no, I feel comfortable, we have the list of vendors, unless the board is not comfortable with the
No,
town
I'm
manager
fine.
saying that he hasn't had a chance to
I
review.
didn't find anything wrong in the payroll.
I was just-
I did
No,
look
no,
through
no,
it.
I'm talking about only the vendors.
Yeah,
That's the checks that need to be authorized to go out in the mail.
so if we approve this, then,
Remember, I said payroll's already gone. The only way for the board to have questions about payroll is it would be taken after the fact and then it would be adjusted retroactively.
gotcha, okay.
Correct.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with going, because
No.
we need to do this.
So
get
we
this
can
out.
vote on it.
Yeah,
and then
absolutely.
People need to
sign
get
later.
paid.
Let's do it.
No,
Yeah.
they're paid.
Okay.
No, these
Okay,
people.
the
Oh,
vendors.
the vendors.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
So Kelly, do you have any more questions on?
No, I don't.
Okay. All right,
All my questions were already answered, so.
very good. Any further discussion on the warrants then? And Brandon will be around for us to sign them. All those in favor of the warrant signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn?
Second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. That was a rough one. 8:05, that's not too bad.
They can sign.